Nigerian top Nigeria tops global unemployment rates with 33.3%. NBC set deadline for broadcasting stations settle debt or face revocation. Anthony Blinken backs ECOWAS efforts over Niger coup. Today is 21st Muharram 1445 after the Hijrah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is equivalent to 8 August 2023. I am Salam to Note Aliman with the news in full. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has met with the Director General of the World Trade Organization (WTO), Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, at the Aso Villa in Abuja. The purpose of her visit was not yet known as of fresh time, but it might not be unconnected to the economic and trade agenda of the new administration in Nigeria. Professor Okonjo-Iweala arrived at the presidential villa at about 2:50 p.m. She was accompanied by a former Minister of State for Health under Goodluck Jonathan's administration, Dr. Ali Pati. Professor Okonjo-Iweala last met with Tinubu in June when they both attended the leadership summit held in Paris, France. She was the Minister of Finance and coordinating Minister of the Economy during Jonathan's government. Okonjo-Iweala served twice as Nigeria's finance minister between 2003 and 2006, as well as from 2011 to 2015, the first woman to hold the position. She also spent a 25-year career at the World Bank, rising to number 2 position of managing director. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has inaugurated the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. NAN reports that the president had earlier last month announced the constitution of the tax committee in order to harmonize some taxes. The special advisor to the president on revenue, Zaj Adedeji, had hinted on streamlining of taxes from 52 to 10. The inauguration ceremony, which was held at the State House in Abuja today, will be chaired by Tawo Oyedele, fiscal policy partner and African tax leader at PwC. The committee comprises experts from both the private and public sectors and will be responsible for various aspects of tax law reforms, fiscal policy design and coordination, harmonization of taxes and revenue administration. Senators from the Southeast geopolitical zone have called on President Bola Tinubu to appoint at least 2 additional ministers from their region. The senators said their demand was to ensure fairness and justice in the representation of all geopolitical zones in Tinubu's government. Senator Tony Owoye, representing Anambra North, made the position of the Northeast senators known via a motion he moved at the plenary yesterday. 14 other senators from the Southeast region are co-sponsors of the motion. Mr. Owoye complained that the Southeast region has the lowest ministerial representation among those appointed by Mr. Tinubu, with 5 nominees. They are David Umahi Ebonyi, Uju Kennedy, Ohani Anambra, Kiru Onyejocha Abia, Uche Naji Enugu, and Doris Uzuka Imo. Anambra Senator said gesture of the president in the appointment of ministers contravenes Section 5A and 5B, as well as Section 4(1) of the Federal Character Commission Act laws of the Federation 2004. The Persons with Disability (PWs) have protested the non-inclusion of members of its community in the ministerial appointment list of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Addressing a media conference under the aegis of Community of Persons with Disability today in Abuja, the group said their omission was not in accordance with the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act 2018. According to the group, the act calls for the inclusion of at least 5% of persons with disability in public office appointments. The Chief Executive Officer, the Albino Foundation, TAP Africa, Jake Ekwele, said that the current lack of representation in the Federal Executive Council list marked a missed opportunity to advance equality and justice for persons with disability in Nigeria. He said prior to the establishment of the cabinet, the representative organizations and the House of Representatives had lobbied for the allocation of 10% of ministerial positions to individuals with disabilities. Senate President Godswill Akpabio has announced the composition and leadership of standing committees. The announcement was made shortly after lawmakers reconvened from their short break after confirmation of the ministerial nominees in the late hours of yesterday plenary. The Standing Committee has Solomon Adiola, APC Ogun, as Chairman of Appropriation Committee, Enyenaya Abaribe, AP Abga, Abia as Chairman of Power Committee, Abdulaziz Yari, APC Zamfara, Chairman of Water Resources Committee, and former President of Senate Ahmed Lawal, heading the Defense Committee, and Senator Ahmed Abdulhamid Malam Modori as Chairman Committee on Police Affairs, among others. Mr. Fabio, who announced the composition of the committee shortly before midnight and the plenary, urged lawmakers to approach the Senate leader for their appointment letters. Nigeria tops in the ranking of countries with the highest rate of unemployment in the world, according to the latest statistics released by World of Statistics. According to the report obtained, Nigeria led with 3.3%, followed by another African country, South Africa, with 32.9%, and Iran, with 15.55%. The lowest rate of unemployment was in countries like Qatar, with 0.1%, and Cambodia, with 0.36%. But the unemployment rate in Nigeria increased to 33.30% in the fourth quarter of 2020 from 27.10% in the second quarter of 2020, according to the National Bureau of Statistics. Meanwhile, the report indicates that the Nigerian unemployment rate had increased to 7.7% in 2022 and will further rise to 40.6% due to the continuing inflow of job seekers into the job market. The report said unemployment will continue to be a challenge due to the slower than required economic growth and the inability of the economy to absorb the 4 to 5 million new entrants into the Nigerian job market every year. Reacting to the report, the Center for Social Justice recently urged the National Bureau of Statistics to compile and release the current unemployment data for the country. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, says Nigeria recorded 1,534 confirmed cases and 137 deaths from diphtheria between May 2022 and July this year. In its latest diphtheria reports released today, the organization said the confirmed cases were recorded across 11 states. The report said a total of 4,160 suspected cases have been reported from 27 states across 139 local government areas in the country. It said Kano State has recorded 3,233, Yobe 477, Katsina 132, Kaduna 101, Bauchi 504, Federal Capital Territory 41, and Lagos 30 accounted for 97.8% of the suspected cases. The report said the confirmed cases were distributed across 56 local government areas in 11 states. The report also said in the month of July this year alone, a total of 1,506 suspected cases were reported from 59 local government areas in 11 states across the country. The news is coming to you from the studios of Sawaba Radio, months of the Bishop Break Station.
This is News on the Hour, Sawaba Radio FM.
Welcome back. The National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, the regulatory authority overseeing broadcasting operations within the country, has issued a directive stipulating that all broadcasting stations with outstanding debts owed to the Commission must settle their liabilities by September 9, 2023, or face the potential revocation of their licenses. This development comes as the NBC takes steps to enforce financial compliance among licensed renewal debtors and those who have defaulted on their 2.5% annual income remittance obligation. A stakeholders meeting was convened by the National Broadcasting Commission on Monday at the Bristol Palace, Kano. The session saw the participation of broadcasting practitioners and media proprietors hailing from the northeast, west, and north central geopolitical zones of the nation. Addressing the attendees, the Director General of the National Broadcasting Commission, Malam Balarabe Shehu, articulated the Commission's standpoint. The essence of the gathering was to communicate the NBC's expectation that broadcasting stations currently in debt to the Commission must, within the given time frame up to September 9, 2023, reconcile their financial obligations, Failure to do so may result in termination of their operations, as the Commission is resolute in its determination to uphold compliance with license renewal requirements and the mandated 2.5% annual income remittance. Malam Balarabi underscored the significant number of broadcasting establishments spanning both public and private sectors that remain in arrears with their obligations. He expressed the NBC's unwavering commitment to holding accountable those who do not meet their financial responsibilities, warning of firmer penalties for non-compliance. Furthermore, the Director General articulated the NBC's new policy stance, effective immediately. Broadcasting stations unable to meet the specified deadline for debt settlement will be regarded as operating illegally, thereby undermining the national economy.
You may recall that the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) has repeatedly engaged stakeholders on the need to stay up to date with payments and rewards and license fees. The meeting is convened by the Commission again in global licenses indebted, that is, those who are indebted to the Commission, to liquidate the indebtedness of the Commission as early as possible. In the last few months, the National Broadcasting Commission (NBC) has displayed human things in relating broadcast stations. Indeed, we are still going to continue to show human things. But it's crucial. Considering the non-responsiveness of some of these licenses, that's become imperative in inviting here in Kano to remind you of your statutory responsibilities in the Commission. Licenses indebted to the Commission have since September 9, 2023. That is 1 month exactly from today, such date. Number 2, after September 9, 2023, those licenses shall be revoked and their frequency reassigned by us.
In addition, Malam Balarabe revealed that provisional licenses that remain unpaid after a 2-year period will be deemed lapsed. The NBC's announcement has sparked reaction from media managers who have appealed to the Commission for reconsideration of the stringent deadline, which they deem impractical. They have also expressed a desire for the regulators' consent to service their debts through a structured payment arrangement. The gathering was graced by the presence of prominent figures within the industry, including Director Generals, Commissioners of Information, Permanent Secretaries, and Station Managers. The event was marked by the authoritative articulation of the NBC's resolve to uphold financial discipline within the broadcasting sector and foster a landscape of compliance and sustainability. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has arrested 2 suspected cattle rustlers in Jigawa State. The spokesman of the Jigawa State Command of the Corps, CSC Adamu Shehu, confirmed the arrest to newsmen. He said the suspect, Abdullahi Buba of Garindoli, Itas Gado, local government Bauchi State, and Alhaji Jibril of Busari, Dakchi, local government Yobe State, were arrested on Saturday in Kia local government area of Jigawa State. He explained that the suspects were caught by the owner who kept vigilant during the night in anticipation of catching the thief, who had earlier stolen cows in the neighborhood. 4 cows were stolen from him and 2 from his neighbor, Alhaji Hardu, all valued at over 2 million. He said the suspect confessed to stealing cows and transporting them to Kano State. Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps spokesperson said the suspect will be charged in court for criminal conspiracy, trespass, intent to steal, and theft after investigations. The national chairman of the All Progressive Congress APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, has appointed Muhammad Garba as his chief of staff. Mr. Garba is the immediate past Commissioner of Information and Home Affairs in Kano. He served in Mr. Ganduje's administration in Kano for 8 years. The appointment was announced in a statement today by one of Ganduje's media aide, Abubakar Ibrahim. Garba was also the former national chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, NUG. He also served as the press secretary to the office of the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Journalists and civil organizations in Kano commended Mr. Ganduje for the appointment, describing Mr. Garba as an experienced technocrat who has served humanity. The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has withheld the result of 262,803 candidates who wrote the 2023 School Candidates West African Senior School Certificate Examination. The Council's head of National Office, Patrick Arigan, said this at the news conference to announce the release of the results. He said that the results were withheld in connection with various reported cases of examination malpractice. According to him, the figure represents 16.29% of the total number of candidates that start for the examination. He said that this was 6.54% lower than the 22.83% recorded in the same diet for school candidates in 2022. He added that all reported cases were being investigated, and reports of the investigations will be represented to the appropriate committee of the council for consideration and final decisions. He warned that state government yet to pay council registration fees of their candidate will not be able to assess the result of such candidates until they pay off. A group of 13 Ghanaians have finished an intercontinental road trip from Accra to the UK's capital city of London, helped part of the way by a mechanic who was the only female member of the crew. Nana Afua Adesua told BBC News today she tasted the best fish of her life in Mauritania and will never forget the sight of a nomadic Fulani family traveling on their pack of donkeys. She says traveling with the Wanderlust team expanded the boundaries of her expertise across a range of climatic conditions. The journey began on July 23rd and ended on August 6th with the aim of raising funds for rural primary schools in Ghana. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has expressed Washington's full support for the West African Regional Bloc ECOWAS in its effort to restore constitutional order in Niger following the recent military coup. ECOWAS had given the coup leaders in Niamey a 7-day deadline to step down or face military intervention, which expired on Sunday. Yesterday, ECOWAS announced it will hold a summit in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, on Thursday, celebrating the political situation and recent development in Niger. Mr. Blinken told BBC Focus on Africa in an interview that he had been in touch with Niger's deposed president, Mohamed Bazoum, saying it was crucial the democratically elected government be reinstated. He also accused Russia of taking advantage of the situation in Niger. However, it is important to note that there is no definitive confirmation of Russia's involvement at this stage. He warned that if Russia's mercenary group, Wagner, were to be deployed to Niger, there will be an increase in death, destruction, exploitation, and rising insecurity. That has been the news. Before I go, a recap of the major stories. From the news we all heard, Nigerian top global unemployment rate with 33.3%. NBC set deadline for broadcasting stations to settle debt or face revocation. Antony Blinken backs ECOWAS effort over Niger coup. That has been the news on behalf of the news department. Continue to announce Musalma Adam Iko. I am Salam to Aliman. Good night.